very quick. He's putting Giovinazzi in the shade. Giovinazzi coming across from Formula One, of course, this year. Lots to learn. Another driver racing in front of their home crowd, Pascal Wehrlein, and another driver who's about as quick as they come. Wouldn't he like to convert his starting position into a win here in front of his German fans? And also Porsche, what a scout that would be if Porsche can get on the top step of the rostrum here in Germany.
Curve 21, là, à l'intérieur. Ouais, enfin après il va pas non plus, c'est reparti sur l'autre voiture, ça a l'air plus de... J'ai pas l'impression que ce soit mécanique, j'ai plus l'impression que c'est soft autre chose.
André Lotterer talking French to his engineer.
Batterie low. Tu essayes de prendre, tu vas tout de suite sur la page data, long pull 3 secondes, et tu regardes si le...
Well, 7 minutes to the race start. André Lotterer, multilingual, of course. Another German star on the grid, speaking in the mother tongue to this man, Jean-Eric Vergne, who lines up in 4th place aboard his DS Techeetah machine. So DS powertrain, all French affair here. He's going to have to put the woes of qualifying to bed, park the frustration. But he will be one to watch, Jean-Eric Vergne. Very much got 2 speeds, flat out or stop. But he's got his teammate ahead of him, Antonio Felix da Costa. These two, of course, former champions in the series, know how to win races, know how to win a championship. And they also know that rule number 1 between teammates, do not take each other out. Well, the concentration on Antonio Felix da Costa's face. 10th in the championship. He's got work to do. He's not even finished on the rostrum yet this year. A season that has been littered with disappointment by his extremely high standards, I must add. Alexander Sims, well, he finds himself in uncharted territory, and I mean that with the greatest of respects. He's got 3 retirements to his name, hasn't finished in the top 10 yet this season. He's qualified on the front row here. He's 20th in the points. This is a fabulous opportunity for Alexander Sims in the Mahindra car to drive the Indian mark forward and get a strong finish under his belt. Kickstart their campaign as we round the halfway mark in the series here this weekend. Well, Eduardo Mortara lining up on pole position. Fabulous helmet design, and he really wants to win this.
5-minute +1 lap race underway. Alongside me, Jack Nicholls, is the former Formula One and former Formula E driver, Karun Chandhok. I think we're in for a really interesting race today, Karun, and I know it's my job to say that, but I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a cracker. The surface here means that the drivers are really going to have to work quite hard at making sure they've got the grip in the tyres and also managing their energy here. It's a big wide open track. Watch out for when they start using attack mode, because they will be able to overtake and come through.
It's going to be very, very interesting. Mitch Evans lining up 9th on the grid in the Jaguar on the inside. The first corner is a long left-hander. If you get off line there, you can be in trouble. We've seen people try and be the hero around the outside at turn 1 before, and it hasn't paid off. The inside line is also a slightly shorter run down towards the first corner because of the way the track curves. 45 minutes +1 lap coming. All 5 lights are on. We go green in Berlin. It's a pretty decent start from poleman Eduardo Mortara. Sims is coming with him, a bit slow from the second DS Techeetah, and round the outside. There's the hero move at turn 1. Is that going to pan out? He's trying to get into second position, Antonio Felix da Costa, but he can't quite do it. Verne has lost out to Andre Lotterer, so Jean-Eric Verne has lost a spot. Mortara leads, Sims is second. Third is da Costa, fourth is Lotterer. Evans looks like he's made good progress in these early couple of laps. The other Porsche looks like it's got shuffled down a little maybe. Pascal Wehrlein, he's just in front of Mitch Evans. Evans has gained 2 places up into 7th place off the line, but Mortara leads. Everybody fanning out now into turn 6. The left-hander by the plane, a little bit of rubbing further back. Everybody safely around the first half a lap. Mortara holds the lead. Verne loses a place.
Sebastian Buemi made a terrible start there. I saw on the right-hand side as we get down towards turn 9. Oliver Rowland having a look down the inside of Stoffel Vandoorne, and he's going to try and squeeze through. Vandoorne gives him room, but at the next corner, Stoffel's going to have the inside.
Rowland knows that, tucks back inside, end of lap 1, and it is Eduardo Mortara in the black Rocket Venturi leading the way. A bit of a gap to Sims in second in the red Mahindra. Third is the black and gold DS Techeetah of Antonio Felix da Costa. Freitz is making some progress. He's up into 17th from 20th, but there come the top 3, 4, 5. Evans making good progress in the early stages then. Lucas de Grassi is up behind Oliver Rowland trying to make progress. Buemi's got back ahead of Oliver Turvey after, as you say, making a slow start from 10th all the way down to 15th position.
So up at the front now, from lap 2, they're already starting to think about regenerating their energy and their strategy here. Pretty clean start, wasn't it? We didn't really see any incidents, and people gave each other good racing room and respect, which is nice to see. So Mortara up at the front, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky. When you're the lead car and you've got this entire train behind you, you're the one punching the hole in the air. You're the one who's taking the highest amount of drag. People like Sims and da Costa, Lotterer behind are all using less. They need less energy to cut through the hole in the air. So Mortara's got to be a bit smart here, but just how quickly he wants to go.
42.5 minutes plus 1 lap to go as they come across the line down into the long left-hander of turn 1. Eduardo Mortara leading the way, looking for 25 points to bring his championship fight back on track. Sims in second, da Costa third, Lotterer fourth, and Verne lurking in 5th position. And just behind him is Wehrlein, just behind him is Evans. 2 places gained for Mitch Evans, 4 places gained for Sam Bird off the line as they come down into turn 6 again.
The championship leader has not had a good start.
Was that a mistake from Verne? There might have been contact there. Jean-Eric Verne and Pascal Wehrlein. Wehrlein is through. The Porsche gets him into 5th place. I'm not sure if Verne made a lock-up and made a mistake, or whether there was a bit of a nudge behind, but Verne's loses out.
I think he went in a little bit hot, Jack, and just locked up the inside front, nearly tagged the back of Andre Lotterer's Porsche, and that allowed Wehrlein to take advantage of it. So, yeah, a bit of a mistake from Verne, but we'll see if he can recover. He's got to watch his mirrors, though. Mitch Evans all over the back of him. Those two are super close in the championship, aren't they? They're only 3 points apart in the championship.
Yeah, Verne's second in the standings in the Techeetah. The Jaguar of Evans is third in the standings as they come down in towards turn 1 again. 5th, 6th and 7th, all right together as they wind right now through turns 3 and 4. And then left out onto the back straight. Now this is down to the corner where Verne made that mistake last time around, and a little error like that will cost him a little bit of energy as they come now down in towards turn 6. There's the look to the inside from da Costa, and da Costa is into 2nd place. Antonio Felix da Costa in the DS Techeetah ahead of Alexander Sims now, and up into 2nd position. So Mortara still leads, da Costa is now 2nd, Alexander Sims is in 3rd spot.
Watch those Porsches, Jack, because I think they've got a lot of pace here. Both of those cars looked very, very quick all through free practice and in group qualifying. They didn't quite get it together in the duels, but I think, like in Mexico, like in Monaco last time out, those two cars, who are currently lying 4th and 5th, have got a lot of pace in them.
Yeah, the white and black Porsches at their home race, running in 4th and 5th, and in fact Lotterer is pretty close to the back of Sims here coming into turn 1, not quite close enough. Meanwhile there coming through is the silver Mercedes of Stoffel Vandoorne. He started 8th on the grid, but he's dropped down to 12th. Here's a replay of the start. Da Costa was really bold at the first corner, the 3rd place car, and I thought he was going to get this done for a moment. Sends it right around the outside, coming into the first corner, then got a bit loose, then managed to recover it, but ultimately Sims was able to keep hold of that 2nd place. Here's another look at it. Oh, and there's the move from Lotterer, ahead of Alexander Sims and up into 3rd spot. So Mortara leads, Da Costa 2nd, 3rd is Andre Lotterer, 4th is Alexander Sims, and he's got Jean-Eric Vergne right behind him, and then Wehrlein, and then Evans in there as well. And there is Sims trying to fight back with Andre Lotterer in a bit of a attempt to try and recover the place, but not able to make it through, and that's just going to cost the 2 of them time to Mortara and Da Costa out in front. So Sims is getting fairly racy, and then Vergne is behind them too.
Yeah, Vergne passed Wehrlein at the same place that Lotterer passed Sims, so there were 2 overtaking moves into that corner, and now Vergne all over the back of Alexander Sims. He's seeing this as an opportunity to capitalize, hasn't he? The championship leader down in 12th place, out of the points, and you've got Vergne in 2nd, who's got a great opportunity to finish today in the lead of the championship.
We are on board with him now, running in 5th position. The Frenchman, the 2-time Formula E champion. He's up behind Sims as we come down towards turn 6. This is a favoured overtaking opportunity. Oh, he's not quite close enough here, Vergne, but he does make the move. So Jean-Eric Vergne up into 4th position. Didn't look as though he was almost fully committed to it, but Sims saw it coming and the move is made. Vergne into 4th.
Yeah, it looks like Sims had to come off the gas a bit earlier there, just to recover some energy and slow down basically before the corner, before Vergne did. So it opened up the window nice and early. Wehrlein now, what's he going to do in that Porsche? He's must be a bit frustrated that he lost that place to Jev, and then you can see Vergne disappearing up the road. So he's got to be focusing on getting past Sims pretty quickly.
Eduardo Mortara leads across the line. 2nd is Da Costa, 3rd is Lotterer, 4th is Vergne, 5th is the red Mahindra of Alexander Sims. Then it's the 2nd of the white, black and red Porsches. Then it's this man, Mitch Evans, in 7th position. The New Zealander, who's on an incredibly rich vein of form. 2 wins and a 2nd place in the last 3 races. But he's got his work cut out from 7th, although we have still got plenty of time remaining in this race around Tempelhof. This is the 7th round of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. 16 rounds coming up this year, so we'll be at the halfway point at the end of tomorrow. There's a dive. Nick Cassidy going past Max Günther. Oliver Turvey is defending hard from Oliver Askew. Askew set the fastest lap of the race on that last tour, but Cassidy and Askew are both in attack mode, so that's probably why. Here is the continuing battle over 3rd. The top 2 there, Mortara and Da Costa, have got a little bit of a gap now to, well, everybody else at the moment.
Evans is looking racy, isn't he? Evans, we saw in Rome, we saw in Monaco, he has good race pace and his energy management. Ooh, this is interesting. The race leader, pit lane overspeeding, will be investigated after the race.
Here comes Vandoorne. He's looking up the inside of Sam Bird, and that is the fight for 11th position. I can only presume that pit lane overspeeding will be on the way to the grid or on the way out, so I wouldn't have thought that would end up being a sporting penalty. That feels like it's got fine written all over it to me. But who knows?
I'm not going to predict what the stewards are going to do there, but I suppose it happened before the race. Maybe a reprimand or something like that, perhaps. So
in the same way, speeding in the pit lane in a practice or a qualifying wouldn't get you a
it'll be a reprimand or
and the fact it'll be investigated after the race as well. I'm sure it'll be something along those lines. 36 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Here are De Vries and Vandoorne, the 2 Mercedes in 10th and 11th at the moment. But Eduardo Mortara is in control at the moment.
We need to target to under-consume.
That's Josep Roca, Mitch Evans' race engineer, saying we've got a plan to underconsume, i.e. get some energy in the bank, basically, for to have some fun later in the race.
If you were Ian James at Mercedes, what do you do now? Because, you know, Vandoorne is your championship contender. De Vries got less than half the points that he's got. So do you swap them round? Do you try and see if Vandoorne can get himself back up the order? He's also been the quicker driver this weekend with good form. So, yeah, I'm interested to see how Mercedes play this.
I did ask the DS Techeetah team, you know, Vergne is up there in 2nd in the championship, Da Costa's in 10th. are you going to start doing team orders? They said, no, absolutely not. It's way too early in the season to be doing that.
Yeah, but those two don't listen to team orders anyway.
That's very true. Lucas di Grassi making progress now. He goes past Sam Bird. So Bird made quite a few places off the start, 4 positions, but has now lost 2 to Van Dorn and di Grassi in the Jaguar, down in 13th place. But this is this continuing battle up at the front with Sims in 5th.
You can see Evans has taken that direction from his team. He's dropped back, hasn't he?
Yeah, the tires are not great.
Pascal Wehrlein saying the tyres are not great, which feels like moderately vague feedback, but he's running in 6th position at the moment.
Well, also at this stage, frankly, you know, it's just an opportunity for the driver to have a bit of a rant, an event to get it out of their system. Because, you know, there's nothing the team can do, right? You can't change tyres in this race. You can't change the pressures. You can't do anything. So it's just I think this is where the engineers, you know, I'd struggle to be a race engineer because I'd just go, what do you want me to do about it? But instead they just go, appreciate and it's about psychology, right? It's about understanding your drivers out there alone, fighting this battle alone, and needs to have a bend. So fair enough.
So you're too sassy to be a race engineer, basically.
I just go, what is the point? Like, what am I supposed to do? What is the point of telling me that?
Right, here are the attack modes remaining. Now, twice during the E-Prix, they will go wide at turn 6 and activate attack mode. They will get it twice for 4 minutes during the race, and they will have an extra boost of power, an extra 12% of power for those 4 minutes. So it's going to be a really interesting strategy element to this E-Prix. There you can see the progress from the start. Van Dorn has lost 3 places, Buemi's lost 8, Cassidy's gained 5, but he has taken his first attack mode. Lotterer is sitting there in 3rd place in the white, black and red Porsche. Mortara leading to Costa 2nd, but then it's Lotterer being chased by that man, Jean-Eric Vergne, in the black and gold DS Techeetah, the 32-year-old Parisian. And we're on board with him now. Just a little far back at the moment as they come down towards the radar tower at the far point of the former airport. 2008 it stopped working. There goes Wehrlein. He's the first of the front runners to activate attack mode. Looks like he had enough of a gap behind to keep the place. Yes, he did. So Wehrlein activates attack mode and holds on to 6th place, and he'll now try and use that. Twice during the race, a 13% power boost for 4 minutes. Wehrlein activates.
I think De Vries has gone for it. That's a good way to swap the Mercedes drivers around, isn't it? Is to give Van Dorn a chance to get up the order. So clever strategy there by the Mercedes team. What can Wehrlein do? Here we're seeing Wehrlein running through the attack mode, gets it done, and you're right, Jack, he actually did really well there, because there was a nice gap behind Sims, wasn't it? So he managed to slot himself into that. So that worked out really well. Ooh, here's this Roland on Bird. That's a good move into turn 1.
13th position changes. Van Dorn's got ahead of Sergio Sette Câmara as well. So Van Dorn, the championship leader, has got up into 9th place. He started in 8th, so now he's only in net loss 1 position. Race leader is Eduardo Mortara. There's Jean-Eric Vergne. To the inside at turn 6. Alexander Sims activates his attack mode, and they're still side by side, and whoa, Vergne turns across boldly on his very good friend Andre Lotterer, and he is now up into 3rd place. Sorry, it's Wehrlein, isn't it, that he was... No, it was Lotterer. Okay, he disappeared from the timing screen. So yeah, Vergne up into 3rd. 2nd and 3rd now for DS Techeetah. They started 3rd and 4th. They're making progress.
Yeah, it's a team that's done very well here historically at this circuit, so they were very confident when I spoke to Mark Preston, their team boss on the grid, so we'll get to see just as this race unfolds.
Now, Wehrlein is going to be attacking his teammate, Andre Lotterer, now, because he is in attack mode. He's asked on the radio, can I pass Lotterer? Because this is what you need to be doing in order to kind of use the attack mode to best of your ability. So we might see this little team swap from Porsche.
This lap, turn 6.
Inside this lap at turn 6. So Wehrlein about to go past Andre Lotterer down into the left-hander at 6. Let's go down to Nicky. Nicky Nicky. Half an hour plus 1 lap to go. So Lotterer has now activated his attack mode as well. Mortara's lead at the front is reasonable, actually. It was about 0.6 of a second, I think, as they come across the line. It's gone up to 0.7 of a second. And here comes the attack from Wehrlein on Vergne. The Porsche to the inside at turn 1. And Pascal Wehrlein now is up into 3rd place, making good progress.
This is going to work out well for Wehrlein, I think, because if you look at his gap to Mortara, and Da Costa, obviously, but mainly to Mortara, he will take the lead. He will take a net lead when Mortara goes for attack mode. But obviously then Mortara will have the chance to overtake him on track.
Wehrlein is using a bit more energy than those around him at the moment. Sims is coming through in attack mode as well to get past Vergne, but Vergne activates his attack mode. Also through goes Jake Dennis. Mitch Evans is struggling. He's the one driver, actually, that got up into 7th place. Now he's behind Stoffel Vandoorne. In fact, he was just overtaken by Vandoorne, so he's dropped to 8th position, Mitch Evans, and is similar on energy to everybody else. So the man who's 3rd in the championship and on a bit of a roll doesn't really have much in this race, because he was with the lead group, but now he's very much not. We see Jake Dennis, who's just activated attack mode, but there's Evans now in between the 2 Mercedes, and he was much further ahead of them earlier on.
But we heard it in Monaco as well, wasn't he? He was being told to recover more energy and save energy much more than Vandoorne was, and I think and Wehrlein, and I think, you know, that cost him from pole position to not getting that win in some ways. So obviously there's a bit of safety car and VSC came into play, but it does seem like they haven't quite got the efficiency here once again.
Wehrlein has got into 2nd place then. So the Porsche has got ahead of the DS Techeetah of Antonio Felix da Costa. He's now out of his attack mode, so he's as Sims goes through on da Costa as well, as does Lotterer, and as a result, da Costa decides to activate his attack mode. So Mortara in the lead is the only driver in the top 6 now to have not activated an attack mode yet. So Venturi, as Nicky was talking about earlier, Venturi and the strategy people, what are they called?
Strategists.
Strategists, that was it, I couldn't get there.
You're feeling okay.
I was thinking like strategicians, like the magicians, but anyway, they are doing something a little different to those around them here. Mortara in the lead, 0.8 of a second ahead. Wehrlein is now trying to defend from Sims. Lotterer is coming to the outside in the 2nd Porsche. And Vergne and da Costa are in the back of this fight as well. It's all unfolding behind Mortara currently.
Watch those 2 black and gold cars, because they've got longer times left. As we see, this was the move of Wehrlein going through earlier on, a few laps ago. But watch this battle here now. This is Lotterer in attack mode, going past, but he's going to take Vergne with him. Vergne's got attack mode as well, so he's going to come along for the ride. And da Costa, he's got nearly 3 minutes of attack mode, so Sims is going to get shuffled down here.
27 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Mortara leading. There goes da Costa. He now gets ahead of Alexander Sims as well. Sims still with the lead group. And he's tucked right in behind Antonio Felix da Costa. Lotterer is about to run out of attack mode.
We are faster than car in front with more energy. This lap turn 1, this lap turn 1.
And there is the team orders move. Lotterer to the inside of Pascal Wehrlein. And Vergne tried to get involved there as well. Wasn't quite able to do so, but he's in attack mode for another minute, so he should be able to try and get past coming down into turn 6. But that was a bit of team play between the 2 Porsches. You're faster than the car in front and with more energy. Make the swap at turn 1. But watch for Jean-Eric Vergne here. This may be the move for 3rd position. How hard is Wehrlein going to fight it? Not hard at all. Wehrlein to the inside. Is da Costa coming through as well? The 2nd DS Techeetah forces his way up the inside. There's a bit of contact. Now they're going to be side by side towards turn 7. A very quick corner. And da Costa gets through. So suddenly Wehrlein is shuffled down to 5th position. Mortara leads still. And then it's Lotterer. Then it's Vergne. Da Costa, Wehrlein, and Sims, the rest of the top 6. It's really shuffling around a lot, isn't it, up at the front of the order. And will Vergne, no, he's not quite going to have enough attack mode to try and attack Lotterer this time. So Vergne is out of attack mode, but da Costa behind does have attack mode. Vergne might fancy the traditional move, and Lotterer knows it, so covers the inside line coming down into turn 1. But still, Eduardo Mortara, race leader, has not activated attack mode yet.
You know, we saw the Porsches working together and they swapped around and then they swapped back. That's kind of what Techeetah need to do here, because Da Costa still got 50 seconds of attack mode and it's being wasted sitting here behind his teammate. They need to swap them round. Let's have a look. We're looking back from Vern. Da Costa's going to go for the inside move into 6, so he's getting past anyway. Is he going to... Vern didn't exactly make it easy for him, I'll be honest. But, he's... Can he get into 9, perhaps? Get past Lotterer as well and get in that position?
Well, here they come down towards turn 9. This was a look at Da Costa forcing his way through on Pascal Wehrlein into the left-hander of turn 6 a few moments ago. This was Da Costa's view of it. Robust, but managed to just stay alongside enough. Now, what's happening up at the front? Mortara leading, Lotterer second, Da Costa and Vern remain in 3rd and 4th. Fan boost, 5 drivers have been awarded the fan boost. They get a 5-second power boost in the second half of the race. Da Costa, Vern, Van Dorn, Evans and De Vries, the 5 drivers who have won that public vote. So Mortara leads, Lotterer is in 2nd. Now in 6th place, Alexander Sims, who went a little bit quiet. He's now in his 2nd attack mode. So the number 29 Mahindra is going to be joining the back of this fight imminently. Sims is in his 2nd attack mode. Mortara still yet to take his 1st.
But I think Sims had to do it because Van Dorn had got within 6/10 of him. So Sims kind of didn't have a choice there. Van Dorn was getting very, very close to him, and he had a bit of a gap to take that 2nd attack mode without losing track position. Van Dorn has still got a minute and a half, so he's brought himself into play, hasn't he, Jack? He was down in 12th place on the opening lap, but there's clearly some speed in that Mercedes EQ car, and he's brought himself back onto the tail end of this leading battle with his 1st attack mode. So that's been a decent recovery from him as Sims goes past the Porsche into turn 1, past Wehrlein.
Yeah, this has been a very good recovery. You're right from Stoffel Van Dorn. We saw a moment ago that Mortara still has 2 attack modes remaining up at the front. He's a 2nd clear of Andre Lotterer. Maybe this lap he'll go because he's starting to stretch his legs a little bit. 22.5 minutes plus 1 lap to go.
It will be tight with Da Costa in exit.
Mortara is told it's going to be tight with Da Costa on the exit. So here comes the race leader through his 1st attack mode activation, and he's not that tight. Comes out in 2nd position. That's worked quite nicely for Edo Mortara as far as 1st attack modes go. He's lost 1 place. He'll soon get back ahead of Lotterer, I'd have thought, down into turn 1. That's not too bad.
No, that's worked out well for him. I think that's going to be a good strategy here, because he should just blast past him down the start finish straight now.
Here they come out of turn 10.
Van Dorn, meanwhile, has gone past Wehrlein as well, using his attack mode as predicted. Mortara, easy pass. Look at Sims coming down in attack mode as well, past Da Costa. So Sims has got just under a minute of his 2nd and final attack mode to go, and he's got to make hay, hasn't he? This is his opportunity to grab some track position and try and get ahead of Lotterer too.
So Mortara back in the lead in attack mode with 3 minutes left. Lotterer is under a lot of pressure.
Sims didn't get the move down into 6. Lotterer, as we see, Vern and Wehrlein both going for it on the outside. Let's look at efficiency-wise. Vern is pretty good on energy, isn't he? He's in good shape. Sims has got the least energy of anybody in the top 10. So, but I guess that's understandable because he's also the one who's used his 2nd attack mode the most. So that's pretty logical. He hasn't been able to take advantage of it, though. He hasn't been able to get ahead of Lotterer and take advantage of that attack mode. He's about to run out. I don't think he's going to have enough to get the move done. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, he's not quite there. Lotterer covers the inside line down into turn 1, Jack. And so Sims is staying in 3rd.
Mortara still leading. Lotterer in 2nd place. 3rd, Alexander Sims in the red Mahindra. He is the only driver in this top 5 to have used both of his attack modes. Dilbag Gill watching. Florian Modlinger watching. Thomas Chevauche watching. Jerome D'Ambrosio watching, with 20 minutes plus 1 lap to go.
So Mortara can be really smart here, because even though he's got attack mode, he's not going to disappear up the road from the rest of the pack.
Yeah.
What the advantage he's got is he's got more power to punch out of the corners and get a bit of a gap. And then he can coast for longer and recover energy. So he's got the track position by taking the lead, but he can also drive much more efficiently and coast and save more energy because he's accelerating out of the corners and just creating that gap so people can't overtake him. So he's got to really use his head here and be as efficient as possible in this next minute or so that he's got attack mode.
Now here's Jean-Eric Vergne at the back of this queue. He's in 6th place at the moment in the black and gold DS Techeetah, but he's in attack mode and he's got a chance here of getting Stoffel Vandoorne. The championship top 2 fighting into turn 1. Vandoorne tries to cover it as much as he can. Also going wide in there was Alexander Sims, so he's under a bit of pressure, but Vergne is through ahead of his title rival, and now he's got his teammate Da Costa ahead of him. Vergne is in his 2nd attack mode. Da Costa still has one to take, as do Lotterer and Mortara, and here comes the move from Vergne.
Let you by T6.
Nice little bit of synchronized switching, and Vergne goes through. So now he's going to be attacking the back of Alexander Sims.
Yeah, he gave Da Costa a little love tap, actually, at turns 3 and 4, but nothing. I think he was too busy trying to get the move down on Vandoorne at that stage and just give him a little touch. So here we go. Let's see. Can Vergne, in the next 126, get past Alexander Sims? He should get the move down pretty easily down the start-finish straight. So up at the front, Mortara has now got nearly a second on Andre Lotterer on board here with Jean-Eric Vergne. He should be able to take this place pretty easily. Sims does defend the inside line. Look at this, Vergne having to coast and defend, and actually not as easy as I thought. Oh, here's Vandoorne on Da Costa.
Neither of them are in attack mode, so that's just pure racing. And Vandoorne ahead of Antonio Felix Da Costa, then up into 5th place, and this is Pascal Wehrlein's view. He's behind them, so he now is going to try and get ahead of Antonio Felix Da Costa as they come down in towards turn 6. Vergne is going to be on the attack of Sims again, so eyes everywhere as we come into turn 6. There goes Vergne. He does get ahead, and his teammate Da Costa loses out to Wehrlein, but activates his attack mode at the same time and doesn't lose any places. So that's neat and tidy for Antonio Felix Da Costa there. Mortara still leading, a second ahead of Andre Lotterer, but Vergne in 3rd, Sims in 4th, Vandoorne 5th, Wehrlein in 6th, Da Costa down into 7th. So Vandoorne is making really good progress here, and he's still got another attack mode to come. He's going to be under a... I don't think he will be under pressure this time from Wehrlein, because Wehrlein's going to be out of energy. Roland's gained 9 places so far during the course of this E-Prix. Lotterer has gained 3.
Max efficiency from now. The cars in front still has to take attack.
So maximum efficiency from now on, because the cars in front have still got to take attack mode, i.e. Mortara and Lotterer.
Vandoorne will really be regretting the places he lost in the first lap, because clearly that car's got some good pace in it and good efficiency, because he's made his way through the pack. He's all over the back of Alexander Sims now, and Vandoorne still has to take 1 attack mode. So let's see if he chooses to do it here. Nope. Decides to hold on. Oh, look at this little battle here, Jack.
Bird going up the inside of Roland. You can see energy left on the left-hand side. Mortara is in a reasonable place, 38%, a little more than Lotterer and Vergne. Meanwhile, Roland, after getting passed by Bird, also got passed by Dennis, so he's now dropped down into 11th position in the other Mahindra. Bird is up into the points. Dennis is pretty short on energy, as is Alexander Sims. Vandoorne has 2% more energy than Alexander Sims, so he's looking pretty strong here, Stoffel Vandoorne. Eduardo Mortara is still leading this E-Prix. Lotterer is 2nd. Those two still have to use another attack mode. Da Costa on Wehrlein. Da Costa's into 6th. Less than 16 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Sims loses out to Vandoorne in there as well. So Vandoorne got ahead of Alexander Sims. So suddenly he's up into 4th place. This is a remarkable drive from the silver Mercedes EQ there in 4th position. Stoffel Vandoorne is climbing through the field and is up into 4th now. His teammate Nick de Vries is still in 12th, which is basically where he started. He hasn't been able to make anywhere near as much progress.
Well, he was ahead of Vandoorne. He was, I remember the opening lap, he was 9th and 10th or something, and then he went backwards. So clearly Nick de Vries still struggling compared to Stoffel, who's coming up to turn 9. He's now behind Jean-Eric Vergne. So in the top 4, Vergne is the only one who's used both attack modes. The other three have yet to use it. And in fact, actually, here, look at that graphic. If you look at the top 16, or top 17 now, there are only 3 drivers, and that's Mortara, Lotterer and Vandoorne who've got an attack mode left to use.
15 minutes plus 1 lap to go. There's a move from Da Costa, getting ahead of Alexander Sims, and up into 5th position. Is he going to have a chance at getting Stoffel Vandoorne on the run down towards turn 6 in a moment? Edoardo Mortara leading the way. Lotterer in 2nd position. 3rd is Jean-Eric Vergne in the DS Techeetah. And there's a look from Vandoorne. Gets through. Vandoorne now up into 3rd place. Vergne trying to get the switchback, but he can't quite get it done. Great move from Stoffel Vandoorne, and he's using that extra energy that he's kept in reserve for a while, and is now to 3rd place, and there's the swap from the DS Techeetahs. So Da Costa now getting ahead of Vergne. A little bit of a crunch between them. But Da Costa, I don't think, is going to have enough attack mode left to attack Stoffel Vandoorne. Here was the move from Vandoorne on driver's eye. It's a late move, I like it.
And that's a pure overtaking move there. That wasn't to do with attack mode. Oh, Lotterer, look at this. Lotterer all over the back of Mortara now.
Vandoorne used his fan boost to try and keep Da Costa behind.
Mitch Evans has dragged himself up the order a bit, hasn't he? He's sort of hovering now on the back of this pack. He's behind Wehrlein, but only a few tenths. There he is in the back of shot. He's on the back of Wehrlein's car. He's dragged Sam Bird with him. And they've now got sort of similar energy. Clearly, that phase earlier where the team asked him to bank, as we see, that is the Porsche of Andre Lotterer, who's gone, and he's going to get, wow, that's aggressive. Comes back at Jean-Eric Vergne. So that's going to be interesting now. What do Mortara and Vandoorne do?
It's now, isn't it? It's this next lap.
It's going to be this lap.
You've got to take it. You've got a gap, maybe not the biggest gap in the world, but certainly Mortara can come back out ahead of Lotterer still and have more or longer available in attack mode. So it's got to be now or never for Edoardo Mortara as they come over the start-finish straight once more. 12.5 minutes to go. Edoardo Mortara leading the 7th round of the ABB FIA Formulary World Championship. This, the Shell Recharge Berlin E-Prix.
Push to attack this lap, ignore 4
and that's Stephen Lane, Vandoorne's engineer, saying, well, what we were just saying really, it's now or never. Is Mortara going to do similar? Down in towards turn 6. Watch the turn 2. Mortara stays out. So Vandoorne activates attack mode, but Mortara stays out there in front. And the other problem you have here, Lotterer now up into 2nd, Vandoorne down to 3rd. But you're risking yourself more and more of not being able to use attack mode, because you can't activate it under safety car conditions. You have to use all of it before the end of the E-Prix. So the later you leave it, the higher the chances of getting scuppered in that manner.
Yeah, I mean, Venturi are going clearly for an offset, aren't they? They're hoping, because Lotterer went a lap earlier, they're hoping to have a big offset of performance. So it'll get to a point where Mortara will have attack mode and the others won't, and he can just drive past them. But as you say, it's getting a little bit risky. They could probably risk leaving it another lap if they really wanted to, and if that's their strategy. But after that, it starts to get on the edge, really.
Admittedly, if there is a safety car, time gets added, so they're not completely scuppered on that front. But Lotterer now back in front of Vandoorne. Lotterer in 2nd, Vandoorne in 3rd. Mortara still leading and doesn't activate attack mode again.
This is a genuine race of position as well.
Yeah.
Lotterer and Vandoorne both on attack mode, both pulling away from Da Costa, but this is an actual battle for what could potentially become the lead of the race, because they're dragging on to the back now of Mortara's Venturi car, and when he takes attack mode, these guys want to be able to pounce and gain track position.
2nd and 3rd, Lotterer and Vandoorne. Porsche versus Mercedes in Germany. Mortara is leading though, as he has done the whole E-Prix so far in the Rocket Venturi. Mitch Evans looking to the inside of Alexander Sims coming down into turn 1. Did he pull it off? Yes, he did. So Mitch Evans in the Jaguar, now up into 7th place, and as Karun was saying earlier on, back in the fight with everybody else. Here comes Stoffel Vandoorne on the back of Lotterer again. If Mortara takes attack mode here, it's going to be so tight with the two behind. We've got less than 10 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Does Mortara go into attack mode this time? He does. So Lotterer is going to move into the lead of the race, is he? Yes, so Lotterer now leads. 2nd is Vandoorne, 3rd is Eduardo Mortara. But Mortara, they have reverse order attack modes remaining. Mortara has the most, Vandoorne the 2nd most, and Lotterer is going to be out of it pretty much on the end of this straight now, coming into turn 1. Then the question is, how hard do you fight to keep those drivers behind? Because early on, we saw a lot of, you know, you go past, you're playing the long game. When do you run out of time for the long game? 9 minutes to go. Nerves at Porsche.
So this is the moment. Vandoorne's got to get past Lotterer really quickly and then hope that Lotterer can block Mortara. He hasn't got it done, so he's going to waste about 30 seconds by the time he gets to that straight of turn 3 in attack mode, and that's frustrating now for Mercedes EQ. They really needed Vandoorne to try and get past there. He wasn't quite close enough, so here we go. Mortara now all over the back of Vandoorne. Vandoorne should get past Lotterer, and Mortara's going to go with him. So, right, the battle for the win is going to be between these two, isn't it? It's going to be between the two Mercedes-powered cars, really. It's going to be Mortara's going to have an extra, what, 2 minutes 15 seconds or so.
An extra lap, basically.
An extra lap, basically, yeah. Of maybe even 2 laps, actually, of attack mode.
Oh, yes, of course, 2 laps. It was 2 laps the offset, wasn't it? So, yeah, Mortara is going to have 2 laps to try and get back ahead of Stoffel Vandoorne. Here they come, out onto the start-finish straight once more. 8 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Vandoorne out of attack mode now. He's already used his fan boost as well, so there's no using that to try and defend from Eduardo Mortara. The silver Mercedes EQ ahead of the black Rocket Venturi. 3rd is Andre Lotterer in the Porsche. That is the scene inside Venturi, as their man Eduardo Mortara, the Italian-Swiss racer, tries to make progress and tries to take the lead of the race, coming down into turn 6. Mortara's through. Vergne is attacking Lotterer as well, but Eduardo Mortara back in the lead of the Berlin E-Prix. We've got 7 minutes plus 1 lap to go, and Mortara, who qualified on pole position and has been running at the front for most of the race, is now back in front. 2nd is Vandoorne. There's, you've got the energy on the left-hand side, and they're all pretty similar at the moment. Jean-Eric Vergne getting ahead of Andre Lotterer. Lotterer has a little less. So as they come out on the start-finish straight once more, it's Mortara, Vandoorne, Vergne, Lotterer, Da Costa, Verline, Evans. And a little bit of a gap back to Alexander Sims. But those are the top 5 down into turn 1.
Yeah, Bird now about to attack Sims as they head down towards turn 1. Sims has really been shuffled down the order, isn't it? The man started on the front row. He's now down in 8th place, under attack from Sam Bird, who's got a bit more energy than him as well. So Jaguars have got both cars in the points. This is Aurelio Mortara taking the lead. So he's got about 7/10 of a second over Vandoorne, and that is just going to extend across this lap. Ooh, that was an interesting little lunge there from Da Costa on Lotterer, but it was never really close enough to pass.
Well, he used his fan boost to try and close in, but wasn't able to quite manage it there, so went for it, but it's cost him a little bit of momentum now, and it means that Lotterer has dropped back a tiny bit from the front 3. Mortara is about to finish his attack mode.
For info, Jeff has fan boost.
That's Vandoorne being told that Vergne behind him does have access to fan boost. Now Mortara is out of attack mode, so now everybody has used their attack modes, but Jean-Eric Vergne has fan boost to use, as does Mitch Evans in 7th place.
Right, so the race now. We've got a straight fight, isn't it? 5 laps to go.
Verne's using his fan boost. Jean-Eric Verne's going for it, coming down into turn 6. Is he going to be close enough to the back of Stoffel Vandoorne? He knows he has to send it. Turns it in, gets it stopped, and Verne is through. Up into second position. The DS Techeetah driver into second place now. Vandoorne down to third. Evans got ahead of Wehrlein a little further back too. But can they do anything about Edoardo Mortara out in the lead of the E-Prix?
Mortara is really holding his own, Jack, isn't he? He's got that little buffer of 6 or 7 tenths, and they're all similar on energy. Mortara perhaps a little bit less than the 2 cars behind him. Vandoorne has seemingly got a bit more, but he's got to get past Jean-Eric Verne, who's not afraid to get his elbows out.
Jean-Eric Verne looking for his first win since Rome last year. Edoardo Mortara has won in Diriyah, the second race in Diriyah earlier this year. But look how close Verne is now coming to turn 6. This was his move on Vandoorne.
It's a great move, really. A late lunge and saw the gap, went for it, and very tricky to stop the car just at the apex. So, yeah, did really well there. Here, Bird still on the back of Sims. This is still probably the closest battle we've got on track at the moment. But the battle for the lead starting to tighten up on that last lap. Mortara was, I think, harvesting a bit more energy, and it's allowed Verne now to get right on the back of it. This is what are we looking at here, Jack? Probably 3 laps to go.
We have to hit targets. Under-consuming is bad.
We have to hit targets. Under-consuming is bad, Stephen Lane tells Stoffel Vandoorne there. So does that mean if we under-consume, we then don't have enough time to use the energy in the closing stages? I'm not sure, but Mortara has slightly less energy now than Verne and Vandoorne. Techeetah, we believe, have told Verne to go for it. He makes a bit of a mistake. Coming through the right-hander of 3. Now the left-hander of 4. 3 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Here comes the grandstand finish of the Berlin E-Prix. Edoardo Mortara leading. This man who we're on board with here is Jean-Eric Verne, running in second place in the DS Techeetah. Through the left-hander of 6. Now into 7. Just a little lift, then back on the power. The car's really leaning through that quick left-hander. Into the hairpin of turn 9. Just half a second between the top 2. Vandoorne is lurking there in third place as well. We're about to come across the line. And we will have 2 minutes and 9 seconds to go. So that'll be 2 laps to go.
Right, Vandoorne now, he's got a little bit more energy. He's being given the hurry up by his team.
3 laps to go, sorry. 3 laps to go.
3 laps to go, yes. He's been given the hurry up by his team, Jack. Is he going to go for the move into turn 6?
We're riding with Stoffel Vandoorne in driver's eye as we come down into turn 6. Has a little look in the mirrors, but there's no one else around. Verne and Vandoorne defending Edoardo Mortara, and through goes Verne. But then Mortara gets him back, and Vandoorne is going to try and get through on Verne. The championship contenders, wheel to wheel into turn 7, and suddenly that has allowed Andre Lotterer to join the fight. But Verne and Vandoorne the championship leader, Verne in second, and they're fighting it out. What happened with Mortara? It's like he defended and tricked Verne into attacking, and then he just got him back. But here comes Vandoorne and Verne now into turn 10. Yeah,
Mortara got extra defensive, I think, into turn 6, and that just suckered Jev into having a lunge. And in the end, Mortara's, he's still got a little bit less energy. Watch this, Jack, as they get to turn 1.
Verne covers the inside. Goes in maybe a little bit deep, but suddenly Verne has become the stopper in the bottle, and everybody else has joined the fight, and Edoardo Mortara has been given a little bit of freedom to roam. Mitch Evans is now in the gang too, and he's third in the championship. We're on the penultimate lap of the race now.
They've all got very similar energy. I think Vandoorne's still holding a little bit more. What does he do here? He's got Lotterer all over the back of him, and he's trying to attack Verne. Verne is struggling.
He went so defensive into turn 6.
Yeah, Verne is really struggling here. He's a proper stop at the bottle, and this is helping Mortara. Mortara's got a second and a half, Jack. He's in great shape here.
Whoa.
Evans lock up into the 9.
Everybody locking up into 9. Mortara's gone. Mortara's checking out. He's looking surely set for his second win of the season. But Jean-Eric Vergne, can he hold on to this second place? He was so defensive against Stoffel Vandoorne coming into turn 6. These two, the top 2 in the championship. Vergne to the inside, coming into 1, defending again. And there's an attack from Evans further back, but he can't quite get it done. Oh, Vergne's gone in deep into 1. There, sticking his nose in his Lotterer, but they're still all in the same position. We're on the final lap of the Berlin E-Prix. Mortara is disappearing up the road. Is there 1 or 2, maybe 3 more chances for Stoffel Vandoorne to get into second place? Here they come down into turn 6. Vergne in second.
Evans, watch Evans.
Evans has got Da Costa. Vergne covers the inside again. Now on the power. There's also quite a long straight out over the line, so energy right to the line is going to be vital. Vandoorne. Not close enough into turn 9. Vergne defends again. Gets on the power. Coming up towards turn 10. Eduardo Mortara is going to win for the second time this year. A lights to flag victory. But the battle is on for second place. Mortara across the line. Eduardo Mortara wins in Berlin. But who's going to be second? It's Vergne. He holds on. Vergne in second and Vandoorne in third. Da Costa dropped all the way down to 8th place at the end. Lotterer 4th. Evans recovers to finish in 5th. Third, Da Costa, Sims and De Vries the top 10. But that is the Rocket Venturi garage. They have watched Eduardo Mortara win and move himself up closer to championship contention.
Just a reminder of car 4-8, car 5, car 2-5. Stay on the track and go to the podium, follow instructions of the marshals. So 4-8, 5, 2-5, stay on track, follow the instructions of the marshals.
So those are the top 3 that will be staying on the track and heading around again. And we'll see if
quand tu arrives au niveau de la grille, ils vont te faire couper pour aller au podium, ok?
Attends, 2 secondes. Et je vais où là?
Edo, it's Caron here in commentary. Congratulations.
Ouais, et je vais où? Start-finish?
Ouais, start-finish.
Ok.
Edo, it's Karun here in the commentary box. Congratulations, great race, well managed there.
Well, he finished second in Berlin Race 1 last season. He's gone one better today. Eduardo Mortara on the top step at the podium. He likes it around here. That Rocket Venturi car is a very, very good car around here. And he doubles up, taking his win tally to 2 so far this season. Well, a very arty helmet design, fitting for the victor. Jean-Eric Vergne in the middle there, congratulating Stoffel Vandoorne as race winner. Eduardo Mortara celebrates the Swiss driver being cheered on by the German crowd. No Germans on the rostrum, but still the fans flock here, celebrate their favourite drivers and the victory. Eduardo Mortara. Jerome D'Ambrosio, there just giving his charger a congratulations. Obviously Jerome knows Formary well, swapped his helmet for the boardroom for now. Listen to the crowd as they pile in to the apron here at the Berlin Tempelhof Airport. Cheer on the top 3 drivers and teams. Drivers going through the formalities, getting weighed. That'll be added to the weight of their car as they go through post-race technical checks, of course. And now they can take a drink once they've completed that. And the results there. The top three followed home by the lead hometown hero, Andre Lotterer. Mitch Evans made ground up to 5th, but couldn't replicate the pace he's shown in the last 3 races. Pascal Wehrlein, another German with a strong showing in front of his home crowd. Well, Van Dorn on the left, just discussing things with Jon-Eric Verne. Stoffel Vandoorne with the championship lead into this weekend. He's finished just behind Jon-Eric Verne, and that might mean that Jon-Eric Verne takes over the championship lead. Such is the gap. No, it won't. Stoffel Vandoorne will remain just a couple of points ahead of Jon-Eric Verne. Edoardo Mortara, after 2 retirements in a row, coming back with a win here in Germany. And that will move him up the championship standings.
What a way to turn things around today. Pole position and your 2nd win of the season. Huge congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, what a day. Already after the qualifyings, we were already very happy, but this race was amazing, very stressful, obviously, because behind they had different strategies and I had to defend. But in the end, everything went all right and I'm mega happy.
What happened there at the end between you and Jon-Eric Verne?
You have to ask him. Well, he tried to overtake me, but I was kind of like anticipating it. Luckily for me, like he couldn't really stop for the apex of the corner, and I could repass him like straight away. And I knew that after that, he had spent a lot of energy, so it would have been like very difficult for me for him to pass me again.
And did the strategy have to change much during the course of the race, or were we always planning to sort of use your attack mode as late as possible?
That's the good thing about Formula E. You need to constantly change your strategy. You have obviously a plan at the beginning of the race, and nothing goes according to plan, and you obviously need to adapt, and the others are trying, you know, to destabilize you, but in the end, everything worked out very well for us.
Congratulations, you're right in the championship title fight now. Edo Mortara for Rocket Venturi Racing.
Cat and mouse stuff out there. It was an action-packed race, a very good race, so often the case in Formula E. Edoardo Mortara talking us through this move there. No way. Jon-Eric Verne getting that stopped and rotated. Did well to cut the nose off of Stoffel Vandoorne. Hold on to 2nd place. Could have very easily not been the case. Stoffel Vandoorne holding off Andre Lotterer, who had a little sniff for the final stop of the rostrum there into the final hairpin.
Well, Jon-Eric Verne, that was a very busy race for you. Are you satisfied with P2 today? Congratulations.
Thank you, yeah. It was a busy race. A lot of things happened, and yeah, happy with 2nd. Tried to give it a go to Edo, but I think his mirror working quite well. So he saw me coming, and I still had to try, you know. I was not going to sit behind and just be happy with 2nd, so I had to try something, but it was, you know, it was fair, and then it was quite tight with Stoffel. So at first my target was to win, and then the threat was coming from behind, so I had to watch out to stuff. But no, happy with 2nd, another podium and more points. Hopefully tomorrow we can have this little better to finally win a race this year, but other than this, it's okay.
Exactly, that win still just escapes you, but you are 2nd in the championship standings, and we do get to do it all again tomorrow. And just seeing the pace from the car, that must be well, reassuring to see.
Yeah, no, I mean the pace is good. The pace was probably better in the middle part of the race rather than the end. So maybe in the middle part I could have gained more time, more advantage. But yeah, it's okay. We're gonna try and learn from this race and move on to tomorrow.
Well, have a good rest, and we'll see you tomorrow. Jon-Eric Verne for DS Techeetah.
Jean-Eric Vergne on board with the Frenchman, just telling us there that he's happy with how things are going. He's in a great position now in terms of the championship fight. Second in the championship. Yet to win a race, though, and you could sense that on his voice in that interview. But he's got a third, a second, a third, and another second.